today we're going to look at pranayama. So this is can be translated as a breath restraint, breath control, and I'm just going to say as breath awareness practices, because there's some that are very, very forceful, and we won't be doing that tonight. It's to just more to introduce and to get the whole idea and the context in which pranayama is practiced. And just my theme for tonight is dancing with the breath. And here is we'll even do a chair-based version of the dancer pose in the comfort of our own virtual chairs. We'll do a variation of that. So mindful breathing beyond cardio. That's usually the only time that that previously I was aware of my breath is, boy, I'm running and either it's going well or it's not. So, but in yoga, we really want to pay attention to the body breath interface, the different koshas. Just always come back to that idea of layers of the human condition, and the outer body affected by diet, nutrition, and exercise, the muscles, the skin, the body breath interface being the lungs and how we breathe. So prana can be literally mean the breath, but also vitality or life force. In other languages and cultures, there's words like chi, and in the yogic philosophy of the subtle body, which includes chakras and nadis, different ways of organizing the experience of the body that are not traditionally medical, but in the yoga philosophy, the main nadi is the spinal cord, overlaid like a vertical conduit that overlays the spinal cord, and the two other main nadis are to the left and right, and this is how the consciousness, let's say, interacts with the breath and enters the human body, interacts and deals with the human body. Really, really, there's a need to go outside and breathe fresh air and just have that experience. I mean, just to see the green trees. I mean, while they're still green, but just to have that change of scenery. And so the idea of, yes, grab a friend and go for a walk. Grab your dog and go for a walk, or certainly walk yourself out of self-compassion and the need to just mix it up. So the idea of having breath awareness and creating an easy, full breath is really we're not really mindful of this unless you've practiced. And it kind of creates an awakening in your brain of the patterns of what happens. So the first biggest component of the breath is the awareness of the diaphragm muscle. So it goes horizontally, side to side, like a trampoline bed, underneath your lungs and above your stomach, just in that kind of space on the horizontal. And as you breathe in, it trampolines down. Like imagine the bowling ball being dropped on the trampoline. It expands. The lungs fill with air, like large pear-shaped organs. So there's a lot of volume that can be pulled down into the bottom of the lungs. And then without any effort on your part, the trampoline bed responds and rebounces back to horizontal or a little bit above, expressing the air naturally. So the idea that this part of our body really, I kind of say, like, we all tend to sometimes suck it up a little bit, suck up the abdomen, or wear constricting clothing or a belt, or, I mean, it's tied in, our front body is tied in with a lot of factors. So we don't have to let our stomach hang out to have a full, easy breath. You can relax the abdominal muscle, but still keeping a good posture, engaging the muscles to support you, but even directing the spotlight of your awareness even to the sides and back, so that you're breathing in 3-dimension, not just in like, okay, in, out. It's a little simplistic. We want to have a more 3-dimensional, side to side, back and front, top to bottom. So breathing in 3 dimensions more effectively. What are we doing when we're like, okay, the breathing, yeah, we breathe, okay, like why? Really, we're really cultivating the parasympathetic nervous response, the relaxation response, the stress reduction response, like whatever, there's lots of words, lots of lingo and jargon that we can use. But really the idea that the mind and the body are definitely linked. You and especially with the emotions. So the idea of breathing at the top of the vase, at the top shallow part of the lungs, is related to an anxious breathing pattern. And you may notice if you've ever been in tears, if you've ever been stressed out, I certainly have. It's very clear that there's a natural patterning going on. So some of us carry that over into our day-to-day life. So you really might not be as vital or as energized as you need be. And then don't even get me started about the smoking, but to really have an optimal experience, whether you're a dancer or an athlete or just want to be in a good mood and feel happy and oxygenated. So there is an optimal blueprint of the breath in my ideal, in breathing in 3 dimensions. And the pranayama takes this a little bit even further to say, okay, now once we're aware of our lungs, and we're going to do a few exercises with that, then we're going to balance the inhale to exhale ratio. This is a thing from India, definitely. So the idea that instead of like kind of a mindless breathing pattern, we want to have a balanced inhale and out and out, and an out breath, exhale. So a lot of times we, as a group, breathe in for 4, out for 4, breathe in for 6, out for 6. And it's a chance for the mind to stop and observe your own body's breathing pattern, and then even have a comparative conversation like, okay, wow, I really never noticed that when I'm stressed out, I even hold my breath. I mean, I was told that in a competitive sport. Like they said, did you realize that you're not performing well because you're holding your breath? I was so anxious to perform, have anxiety. So I was not being my own best friend in that situation. So there was a lovely teacher that helped me with my self-awareness and breathing pattern. And it helped. It helped a lot. It was just something unconscious I was doing because I was trying so hard and being a bit perfectionistic. So balancing the inhales and the exhales, and then even switching the ratio to saying, let's say, in count for 4, and then an exhale for 6 count. So you're just shifting the pattern gently in the idea that we're having an extended exhale. And this is really tells something inside your mind that triggers this response, that it's not fight or flight time, that it's tend and befriend time. Relax. Everything is okay. Like it naturally happens in your body as a yawn or a sigh. So we already have innate patterns naturally in our body to deal with that. But so this is kind of like artificially invoking a yawn or a sigh, if you can think of it that way. And then beyond that, last week I had introduced a 4-part Om. So the idea of anything being a cycle. In yoga, we think of the Om as a cycle, the seasons as a cycle, 4 parts. You can think of the 4 seasons. An Om being like the bell curve, where you have a creation phase, maintenance, a dissolution, and a void, and then repeat, just like on a heart monitor or a bell curve. The breathing is the same. You can think of the inhale, and then the pause is the maintain, and then the exhale as a dissolution, and then the pause at the bottom of the exhale is like the void, and then you repeat, and it's a cycle that repeats. It's more than just in or out binary. Once you start looking at it and thinking about it, it gives your practice greater depth and get greater insight into how the body mind works together. With the four part breath cycle, we're usually not aware of the top and bottom of each breath. So the idea that the breath makes a turn, makes a hairpin turn, is how my teacher describes it. If you think of something going around the track, and then it makes like whoop and comes down the other way. You inhale, and your mind is focused on the diaphragm descending, the lungs expanding, and then it reaches a maximum volume, and then like there's an instant, and then like the wave going back to the ocean, there's the return. The exhale, all the air comes out until eventually there's a trigger. There's something beyond our control where it goes out, and it triggers deep in your brain to repeat the cycle. So it really helps to orient the mind within. And a practice that we're going to try is the NADI SHODHANA. It has a little pause after the inhale built in. So we'll experiment with that. I just ask that you would hopefully have clean hands and use a little hand sanitizer if you need, or just that would be touching our nose. So if you need a moment to just wash your hands with soap and water, I want to encourage everyone to practice good hygiene or use some hand sanitizer. Just we'll be using our own hand to touch our nostrils. This is idea that it balances both nadis, the two main nadis on either side of the Sushumna in yoga philosophy, or the idea that it balances left side of brain, left side of body, unites them. Anytime we cross the midline of the body, there's something happening in the brain that really helps us integratively. But the pausing, back to the natural pausing, provides a peaceful place for the mind to repose. It's completely natural. You don't have to tell your mind, stop thinking. Like the worst thing is like, shh, don't think, because then all of a sudden you have to think like, oh, I have to do something. So no, it gives a natural pause. And because we do this silently, I mean, I'll cue it, but it allows for wordless feeling to arise. So it gives a place for the mind to repose, a place of being and feeling and observing, rather than judging, self-talk, and worries, anxieties, or to-do lists, or whatever's on your mind. So I just encourage you to think of the breath as the dancing partner of the mind. So here we have from India, Mr. Iyengar, who's a student of the grandfather of modern postural yoga, Mr. Krishnamacharya. And he's in the traditional lotus position, and he's doing Nadi Shodhana in India in famous photography from his 1966 book that really popularized modern postural yoga, light on yoga. Here we have, we're not going to worry about the lotus position today. You can see he is making a mudra with one hand on a knee, and the other hand, my teacher calls it the Vishnu mudra, which we've shown on the other side, where we bend the index fingers, and we use the thumb and the second to last finger to toggle the nostrils in a breathing pattern, where you start on the left and you compress the right, and inhale on the left. I mean, you don't have I'm just explaining it. You come on in, and then pause at the top of the inhale, switch the finger, and just don't squeeze, but just gently compress the nostril so the breath comes out the other side. And then we repeat the cycle in on this side, At the top of the inhale, toggle out the left. So left in, then toggle out right, in right, out left. So the idea is that you're like doing almost like a yo-yo to either side, where in, out left, in, out right, and always at the top, as we toggle the fingers, there's the natural gap and there's a natural pause that arises, for the brain to just repose. The idea of even the word yoga is from the root yuj, to unite, or often we talk about it as yoking, as horses are yoked to a chariot. Yoga is putting it all together, using the breath and the posture, having good posture, using the breath. We can actually also integrate, because meditation traditionally would follow the pranayama. So first would be the asana, the physical movement and release of the muscular tension, then moving on to pranayama, a little bit more interiorized, then moving on to meditation with or without mantra, because as we're really thinking about the next interface, because there's the body breath with the prana, the breathing, and then we next to the breath mind. So then we coordinate with a mantra on the inhale and exhale. We started a little bit last week. We'll just review that again. And observing the pauses that naturally occur at the top and the bottom of the breath. It's an open door towards meditation and reposing the mind in an interiorized state. And this is helped by repeating a mantra, which would allow a busy mind something to focus on as it pulls back from the outer senses. So let's move on to doing we'll start with the physical, move a little bit into pranayama, touch a little bit of meditation, and we're good for time. Okay, so get comfortable on your chair. Put your hands in Anjali Mudra, yin and yang to your heart. Om. Om. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And relax. Set your posture up, feet flat on the ground. You can rock forward on the edge of your sit bones, leaning forward a little bit, then rock back just so that you come to center, well balanced without muscular effort, using the muscles to keep you tall. Tuck the chin a little bit and extend the back of the neck, and even be a little bit on the front of the sit bones if you can feel with your awareness where they are on the seat cushion. If you're rocked to the front of them just slightly, it allows a natural curve in the lower back so that the back is not too rigid. It should be naturally curved and comfortable. So the idea to let's just open up some of the rib cage for the breathing practices. So you just inhale, arms up. You can grab your wrist on one side and come to the side, look into the upper arm, and have a breath right into the ribs. Direct your breath into the side being stretched. One more time, breathe in. Try to breathe in through the nose, but any way is good. And release. Release as you exhale. Just let the arms dangle. Come on down. Breathe in, rise up, switch sides, take it over to the other side, keeping the sit bones rooted. Open up the chest. Have a deep breath, expanding that side, like opening up the blinds. Just let the ribs expand nice and open. Inhale back nice and straight, 2 arms together. And exhale. Slow exhale on the way down. Place your hands on your abdomen, one in the front and one in the back where your kidneys would be. On your kidney side, I'm just going to go a little bit more like this. There we go. So think of the big pear-shaped vase and allow your abdominal wall to soften, and allow, as you breathe in, space to become bigger between your hands as you direct your breath into the lower regions. So it might take a little bit of imagination in your mind's eye. So just try it. So that your muscles, and you should feel it with your hand. So your hand is there not to support you, but to feel, as you breathe in, the expansion of the lower lobes of the lungs. And notice your abdomen flattens a little bit as the air comes out. Breathe in, expand, breathe out. You can sigh or use ujjayi breath, just let the air out in a gentle hiss or sigh, so you can be mindful of it. One more deep breath in, and long, slow exhale. Next, place your hands on the ribs, the bony ribs, either side, and just feel as you breathe in, again, thinking low, right to the navel area and to the sides. On the inhale, exhale, let the ribs float back down. Notice your fingers come back closer together. Inhale, wide, exhale, hands drop back to center. Deep breath in. The lungs flare and open naturally. The ribs side to side. And then back to the midline. Next, move your hands up to the upper chest. So remembering the first two dimensions, now we're doing top to bottom. So the idea, bottom to top. So breathing in as with the navel area or right around the Manipura chakra. Then side to side, open those ribs. And lastly, fill up the vase right to the top. Zip it, pull it right up to the sternum. And then do the opposite. Slowly let it out of the upper lungs. Deflate the ribs. Empty the vase. One more time in. Base, middle, top it off. Pause for a split second if it's comfortable for you, and then pour the water out. Down it comes. The chest releases, the ribs release, the abdomen releases. And release your arms. Let's just open one knee. If both of my knees are facing straight, just open one on, let's say, a 45-degree angle, and you can use it as a little prop on your elbow if that's comfortable for you. And draw one arm up by your ear and have a full stretch to the side in a modified Parshvakonasana, keeping the sit bones firm. I mean, you can extend your leg. This leg can be extended if you want on the far side, but we're just really focusing on the upper body for the breathing today. And turn the head, look skyward. Feel the breath filling the ribs on the top right side. And release the arms on the next exhale. Inhale back to center. Center yourself. Give a few good shrugs. Maybe a little bit of massage. Take ourselves off center. But the body loves homeostasis. We want to come back to center. We want to be back in the neutral. Feels good. Other side. So open one side, the other leg at a 45. Place your forearm support, just so you're leaning over to get even more opening. Thumb up and behind you. And turn and breathe into the left lobe of the lung. Really feel the ribs literally expand. Please don't overbreathe. If you get dizzy, or if any of this is just uncomfortable for you, or you have blood pressure issues, feel free to just visualize. I should always say that. You can visualize along. If there's anything I do that's uncomfortable for you, please use your common sense. And you can always go there in the mind. Inhale back up. Exhale back to center. The idea of playing with the opposites of in and out, engagement and release. I'm just going to do a little Dandasana where you extend your legs off the side of the chair, in front of the chair. There's my toes. Just straighten them, engage the muscles, just to take the focus off the upper body for a moment, and then release those big muscles. And just feel yourself sink right a little bit more into the foundation of your sit bones. One more time, just inhale, extend the legs, flex, pull the toes back, engage all the quads, and then exhale and release. To do a modified dancer, have both feet in front, facing in front, and shift to one side of your chair. I'm shifted right to the right side. So it's parallel with my right leg, so that I can take my right leg and pull it up behind me. If you're comfortable doing this, I leave that up to you. If not, please go at your own pace, and you can just do the arms. So I have one knee pointed, one knee in front, and the mudra is do not fear, is the Abhaya Mudra. Abhaya Mudra. It's in the dancing Shiva that we saw in the beginning. It's a gesture of fearlessness and balance among chaos. The Lord of the dance is swirling, and the hair is going everywhere, and there's fire, and yet he's steady and fearless, bouncing on one leg like this. So I thought it was just the perfect intro for today. Release. Come back to center. Shift to the other side of the chair. So you can do the other side. You can grasp your left foot in your left hand and point your knee at the floor, keeping the other one firm. And then inhale. Balance, centeredness, and the face of the of the Lord of the Dance is serene despite what's going on around him in the environment. So I found that particularly inspiring. Breathe in and out. Release. Release the pose. Come back to center. And let's move on with the pranayama. So coming back to center, place your feet. Draw yourself in a nice tall inhale, right up through the crown of your spine. Imagine golden thread being pulled up so that you're at your full majestic height. And that way your body can, your lungs can breathe. Too often the most problem I'm probably with myself is, it's postural, it's slouching. Your abdomen is constricted. Even if you do all the great exercises in the world and tons of cardio, there's an issue. Draw yourself to your full height, allowing the muscles to soften and release and have the full expansion of your abdomen. You can place your hands in chin mudra, fingertip to thumb, and place them hands down on your lap. Just soften your gaze. It's not meditation time, but the idea, you can close your eyes if you like, is just to soften your gaze and pull yourself away from distractions, and being mindful of your own, the sound of your own breath, the quality, the feeling. So on the next inhale, we'll count in for 4 and out for 4, and just do a few rounds. And after that, you can do it on your own, at your own pace. So on the next inhale, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, and release. Go back to your own natural rhythm, your own natural pattern. We'll try it with a little bit longer on the exhale. Not to do it too mechanically. If you don't keep up, it's okay. Just breathe in and extend the exhale. But just to give it a little bit of a structure, we'll do a few counts. So in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And release the pattern. Sometimes the breath knows it's being watched and just does interesting things. Just you feel the play of opposites, of a little bit of discipline, and then back to a bit more freedom. just engage in structure and then back to more unstructured breathing. Just allows the mind to observe, learn to observe and be curious. Curious about our feelings, curious about just being settled and reposed, creating a safe space to just self-reflect and contemplate. So for the next mudra, I'd like you to take your dominant hand and fold down the index and middle fingers so that you create the Vishnu mudra. And I have my thumb on one side and the other finger as a toggle. So you can remove your glasses if this is irritating, or if you have allergies or dirty hands, by all means, please don't, use your common sense. But by compressing gently on the nostrils, just enough so that we direct the flow of the breath. Gently compressing the right, breathe in on the left, easy full breath, not overdoing it. Pause, toggle, exhale on the right. Inhale on the same side, toggle, exhale on the left. So you notice it's a completely different pattern. Inhale left, switch, exhale right. In on the right, switch, exhale on the left. Inhale left, exhale right. If you fall out of the pattern, doesn't matter, just jump back in, breathe in, switch, out. On the same side, breathe in, switch nostrils, out. So go for a few more rounds at your own pace. Breathe in on one side. Notice the pause as we switch the fingers. Breathe out on the other side. Then using that same nostril, breathe in again. Switch. Take the breath as your dancing partner. Create a little pattern, almost like a figure eight. The infinity sign on its side. On your last round, breathe in, breathe out, and finish the round by breathing in and exhaling on your left. See if you can end on the left side. And then release any tension in your arm. Place it back down on your lap. Shrug your shoulders, get rid of any tension that's in your traps, your delts, your neck. Release. Readjust your posture if needed. Just shift, make sure you're well balanced over your sit bones. And you may place your hands in Dhyan Mudra, one hand or the other for meditation, or Chin Mudra, index to thumb on the lap. Use the muscles of your body to keep a nice, alert extension of the spine and rib cage in the most effortless way possible. If you're well centered, you can just find that balance point. Gently soften and close your eyes if you haven't already. Just look for the breath. We really looked at it in a structured way. Now we can just look at it in an unstructured way. Or you can visualize your diaphragm moving up and down, your ribs moving side to side, the air coming in cool in your nostrils and going out warm. All kinds of interior things to explore. The yogis would go to the caves and go to the mountains to do their meditation, to minimize the distractions, but we can create our own space to do so, just within the cave of our own heart, our own torso, our own being. And if you have a mantra that you use, feel free to repeat it to yourself. For me, I coordinate with the breath. So it gives a very integrative experience. Breathing out, so, and breathing in, hum. I am that I am. Over and over and over. The syllables repeating. And as your mind tends to wander and think of other things, because sometimes it's a little surprise to be drawn in meditation, wants to start thinking of things to do, you can share the mantra. If you have one from your own tradition, this is from a teacher, this is perfect. If not, the beautiful syllable. Hum on the inhale, sa or so on the exhale. And you repeat this silently to yourself. With the rhythm of your own natural breath. allowing the mind to dance with the mantra, allowing the mantra to dance with the breath, mind to dance with the breath, all becomes one beautiful dance. Exhale, so or sa, like a sigh, and inhale, hum, sa. Slowly move your body. Move your torso front to back. Give your traps a little rub. Your neck. Give your arms a good stretch if you're so inclined. Just breathe up and come out of your shell just a little bit. Put your hands in Anjali Mudra. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May there be peace in me, peace in you, and the peace in the forces that act upon us. Bring a little bit of heat to your palms if you like, just to bring yourself out. If you want to just stay in meditation, that is also a beautiful option. Depends on your schedule. Create a little bit of heat and apply it to your own heart so that you just seal in the effort that you've made today to just attend to your own needs. Be aware of your own, patterns, your own strengths. with compassion and curiosity. Namaste.